Hey everyone. In this video of the build out of Visual Pinball, I'm just going to kind of go through my personal pinball machine that I have and point out the hardware before we start the installation of the software, so you get an idea of what components make up the virtual pinball machine. So basically the cabinet that you're looking at now is mine, and I got it from VirtuaPin, which is the guy that does VP Forums, Paul, and he makes a great cabinet. It's as good, or if not better, than a regular pinball cabinet. And basically, I received it with the screens installed and basically it was fairly finished. But I added a lot to it as well with the LED lighting that I put in it, some of the boards that I installed in it, and some of the knockers and the contactors, or I believe that's what they're called, that make noise and actually you feel some feedback from the pinball machine when you're playing. And the setup and everything and all the installation of the tables takes quite a bit of time to do all that. So basically, like I said, we're going to go through the components of the machine and kind of show you what you could do with your machine, and the drivers and software that we're going to install in the upcoming videos will relate to what is installed on my machine right now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just take a quick look at the upper part of the pinball machine. And basically, as you can see here, it has a DMD screen in the back here. I don't believe it's a true DMD screen. A real DMD screen is more gas filled. This is more LED. This is LED, not gas filled, as a real DMD on a real Williams pinball machine or anything like that. But that's basically, it runs a DMD as it would, say the animations and everything look the same as they do on a regular pinball machine. So it looks pretty good the way that it works. And basically here too, these are LEDs that I installed. I also have them on the top of the cabinet, of the head of the cabinet I should say, on the back box, that flash as the pinball machine does certain things. So basically there's a test thing you could use, a software to test your LEDs to make sure everything is working with the board. So as you can see, the lights light up as I keep clicking on the different buttons on the test unit that I have. And there's a shaker motor that's in there. We'll look at that in a moment. And like I said, there's knockers that simulate solenoids in a real pinball machine for the flippers or for the pop bumpers or slingshots as you hit them in the machine. So we're going to next look under the playfield and see how that all works. Okay, so what we're looking at now is the inside of the virtual pinball machine, and basically all those gray things that you see here where my finger is going to, these are what simulates the noise of the pinball machine as you play it when it hits slingshots and all that. And that's all set up with a board that is right there. And basically how that is, that's the Zeb's board, as I'm going to talk about in the upcoming videos that I'm going to have out. And basically that board, all the wires come off of that board and go to all those contactors in the machine and to all the LEDs that are in the machine. And that's what simulates all the lights of when you do the different things in the machine. And this over here, it's a motor, and then farther down on the other side, if you could see in the back there, that's the shaker motor that's in the machine. So basically this board, that's the Zeb board, that it's a dual layer board that has all the connectors coming off, like I said, all the wires. It has its own power supply that I put on it. And then next to it here is a LEDWIZ board. and that board actually connects to the computer and actually connects to this board as well, but that's the front end to the computer is this, and it then talks to this, which then, like I said, does all the lighting and all that in the actual machine. So yeah, there's a lot of wires in here that do different things of lighting and the actuators up on top that actually make noise and, like I said, give you feedback to the machine as you play to give it a bit of a more real type of control as you play. So, and then under this playfield here, this is another Zeb's board here, and that's basically the what controls all the buttons and everything of the actual pinball machine, and all the wiring connects to different components of the machine, and that's how you get all the buttons to work, and the actual shooter rod that's in the machine as well. And then farther in the back is the actual CPU that runs the computer, that runs the monitors and the CPU of the computer. And like I said, I'm still kind of working on the machine, so my hard drive's kind of out, so I gotta have easy access to it. But that's pretty much the components inside the machine of everything that controls. There's a lot of components to this, you know, and there's a lot of software that actually runs all of these different things, and it takes a lot of time to really set up the machine to exactly how you want the machine to work. So it takes a lot of patience and a lot of time, but once you get it going, you know, it's not real pinball, but it's pretty good. You know, you learn the rules and everything else with it. So what we're going to do now is just go back to the top of the playfield. I'll load a game up and just kind of show how that goes. So this is kind of the way I'm going to kind of shoot this just for now. I don't feel like taking it on my other tripod, and that goes over. I have a couple videos on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, that shows actual gameplay of the virtual pinball machine. So I loaded one table on this machine. I'm actually redoing it. So what I'm going to do now is just load Visual Pinball with the one table that I have so far on it, and it's Cactus Canyon. So I'm going to load that up and just kind of give you an idea of how the lights work and stuff like that on the machine. So once I hit play, you'll see that the screen comes on, the DMD and the back glass through another piece of software called B2S Server, and the DMD is run by a piece of software called pindmd.com. That's the website, and there's drivers that actually run that. We're going to, again, install all those pieces of software while we do our video. And then for the underneath of the apron that I showed you with all the wires coming off that control the buttons and the plunger on the machine, that's another Zeb's board piece of hardware that needs a driver as well, so we'll be installing that as well. So there's probably about 7 or 8 different different functions that we need to do first or install on the machine, preliminary, just to kind of get it going. And then after that, you have your front end of Pinball X that we're going to install, and that's a whole other process to the machine once we get that going. So again, there's a lot of steps to this, and it takes a lot of time to actually get your machine to really where you want it, to download all the ROMs and to download all the games and configure all the games, and then configure Pinball X on top of it. So again, it takes a lot of time. So basically what we're going to do now is just launch a game here. We're not really going to play one, but we're going to, let me just turn the volume on here. So I'm pointing up now, and then basically I'm going to start the game, and then the actual shooter rod works. So we're going to launch the ball, and you can see the LEDs. There's also ones on the top of the back box. So we're just going to show how the kind of DMD animations work. And that's really it. So you can hear as I hit the flippers how it actually makes a noise, and I could feel the actual vibration or the feedback coming back to me from those contacts that are inside, the contactors that are inside the machine that actually make that feeling from the Zeb's board that's on the bottom of the table, that all kind of work together to give you that pinball feel, we'll call it. So I have some videos coming up of how to install the software on the machine, and it'll probably be about 5 parts, I would think. And basically, if you're in the market of buying one or making one or whatever, again, it takes a lot of time, but again, if you have a lot of patience and some money, you could probably make a really nice machine. So stay tuned for my videos. They'll be posted on my YouTube channel. My website's pinballsupernova.com, and I have a blog, Facebook page, Twitter page, and again, my posts on YouTube as well, my videos. Thanks.